Thank you. Thank you. You see my family up here, my sons, Caleb, Roy, and Kaya, Roy's wife. Of course, my wife. I got my young mother of 90 years old standing down here. I've got my brothers, my sisters, and I appreciate all the people that come tonight. I want to get my staff up here just a moment, if you will. The people that have worked on my staff, if they'll come up here. Brett, Drew, Thomas, y'all come up here a minute. Let's give them some room. Dean. You know, there's so many people that worked on the staff that should be recognized. Thomas here Thomas Sparrow has done a wonderful job. I like to say I taught this guy to run, but I didn't. This is Saran Stacy. He's done a great job. And of course, my chairman, got to have a chairman, and this guy's the best in Alabama. Bill Armistead. Brett Doster. John Walls. Y'all give them a hand. But you know, there's Rich Hobson's here somewhere. I don't know where he got. My good friend Dean Young, Mr. Brant Frost and his daughters, Katie, and somewhere I've missed the Ford family. That's half the. There they are, right there. Give the Ford family. And I have my security man for 15 years. He's come back to visit me. This is Leonard Holyfield. There's one you don't see up here. Let me just tell you, he's done more for my campaign than anybody. And that's Almighty God. I want everybody to understand that when I talk about God in this campaign, I've never prayed to win this campaign. I've only prayed that God's will be done. Because I think you can sometimes win on your own, and it's not a good thing. And sometimes you can lose, and it's the best thing. But the best thing we can do is put it in the hands of the Almighty. And as Saran was saying, there's nothing too great for God. For one day every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain or hill shall be made low, and the crooked shall be made straight, and the rough places plain, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. For the mouth of the Lord has spoken it. The voice said, cry, and he said, what shall I cry? All flesh is grass, and all the goodness thereof is the flower of the field. The grass withereth, the flower fadeth, because the Spirit of the Lord bloweth upon it. Surely the people is grass. The grass withereth, the flower fadeth, but the word of our God shall stand forever. Amen. You know, we're put here on earth for a short time. And for that short time, our duty is to serve Almighty God and to acknowledge Him in all things. I've just been I've talked to the governor who's congratulated me, Governor Ivey. I've talked to Mr. Strange, who has recognized that I've won and that he would work with me. I've talked to Senator Lee, Senator Paul, Rand Paul, and Senator Cruz, and various others that are important in our government. Together we can make America great. We can support the president. Don't let anybody in the press think that because he supported my opponent that I do not support him and support his agenda. As long as it's constitutional, as long as it advances our society, our culture, our country, I will be supportive. as long as it's constitutional. But we have to return the knowledge of God and the Constitution of the United States to the United States Congress. I believe we can make America great, but we must make America good, and you cannot make America good without acknowledging the sovereign source of that goodness, the sovereign source of our law, liberty, and government, which is Almighty God. We have become a nation that has distanced ourselves from the very foundation. Washington said that of all the dispositions and habits which lead to political prosperity, religion and morality are indispensable supports. We've got to recognize that we've been separated by something that separation of church and state doesn't stand for. It doesn't separate us from God. Nothing can separate us from God. We are one nation under God, and we can become one nation unified. There's so much division in our society. Protest, demonstrations, mobs, racial strife. But we're all created in the image of God. I recall what Harry Truman said in his inaugural address. The American people stand firm in the faith which has inspired this nation from the beginning. We believe that all people are created in the image of God, and from that faith we will not be moved. We've been moved, but we can move back. God can still bring us back. You know, the Constitution has been my life. I was sworn many, many years ago to the United States Constitution on the banks of the Hudson River as a cadet at the United States Military Academy. I fought in a war to defend that Constitution. I fought in the courts against liberal judges that have usurped their authority on that Constitution. And I'll fight for you at the United States Senate. I'll fight for the people of this state and of this nation who want to bring our country back to its greatness. And we can, and we will. And thank you very much for your support. This is a time for victory. It's a time to remember the struggles we've gone through, but it's also time to rededicate our lives to God and to the Constitution and to our country, to our families. Let's go again and make America great. Thank you. May God bless you in the state of Mount Vernon. Thank you.